Russia's empire is imploding. Sanctions torch its oil. Kindergartens burn. Children vanish. Missiles rip into Moscow's core. Welcome to SlavaCast on channel Yarochenko. I'm Slavie, your guide through this week's chaos. In this episode, Trump's oil chokehold, China's betrayal, Ukraine's drone infernos, a grandmother's death that shook the nation, Europe's hammer blow, and NATO's offensive revolution. Rage, tears, and fire await. Stay to the end for the reveal that flips this war on its head. Subscribe, like, comment. Your voice fuels Ukraine's fight. What's Putin's darkest fear right now? Drop it below. Let's get into it. Trump hit Putin where it hurts. Rosneft and Lukoil, the arteries of Russia's war machine. Assets frozen. U.S. companies banned. Nearly half of Russia's crude exports. 5 million barrels a day. That's 40% of Putin's war budget, gone overnight. Tankers idle off of Novorossiysk. Middlemen demand 20% premiums. Oil profits evaporate, while missiles still need fuel. Treasury architect Scott Bessent built these sanctions to choke cash after Putin rejected a ceasefire and did not meet Trump at Budapest. Rosneft CEO Igor Sechin, Putin's longtime enforcer, now cut off from Western insurance, tech, and finance. Russia's revenue is now down 21% in 2025. Could crash 25% by the first quarter in 2026. Putin's 130 billion war machine runs on oil. That's how he funds to kill Ukrainians. These slash funds for drones, missiles, and tanks. Oil sales, 5% global, are snarled. Exports down 25%. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth both pushed these sanctions, basically because they were furious at Putin's delays of peace talks. Well, no shit. Putin doesn't want peace. Putin sneered, commented with, Russia has strong immunity to Western restrictions, claiming U.S. gas prices would spike. Trump fired back and just said, we will see, and canceling the Budapest talks. Envoy Kirill Dmitriev jetted to U.S., begging U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff, downplaying the sanctions as not a big issue. Then why did you come to U.S.?
I think we all care about our families. We all care about education of our children. We all care about having good economy, good growth, and we are much more similar when they see Russia with traditional values, U.S. with traditional values, working together. It undermines the whole concept of world full of immigration, full of control of, different values that are not traditional values.
Dmitriev screams Moscow's in terror. R.I.P. Putin's war machine to shreds as Ukraine's hammer smashes his oil empire to dust. Can sanctions stop Putin? That's the real question here. Their fierce start strangling Russia's war economy. Oil fuels 40% of his killing machine, and this hits his pain points like a sledgehammer. But alone, they won't end him to bleed him dry years. Putin must face total pressure. Economic, Ukraine's long-range strikes, torching his refineries. Only relentless force, sanctions, drones, F-16s will crush him. Putin craves war, not peace. Russia must collapse for peace to reign. Still one sanction that could break Putin's wallet fastest. Let me know in the comments below. His empire's ash and Kiev vengeance strikes. Beijing linked. PetroChina, Sinopec, and CNOOC suspended up to 500,000 barrels a day of Russian crude. Why? Because Trump's sanctions threatened to freeze any Chinese bank using dollars in the oil trade. That decision sliced off Russia's largest Asian customer. Pipeline flows continue, but seaborne sales, the flexible, high-profit half, just died. India's reliance on refineries quietly shifted to Middle East to avoid being next. Russia's cash flow could collapse another 25% by spring 2026. Putin fumed about unfriendly partners. Chinese netizens mocked him, dumped like a bad date. Yeah, China's move isn't friendship with the West, by the way. It's fear of losing dollar access. When even Beijing calculates that Putin's risk isn't worth the reward, the myth of the no-limits partnership shatters. Ukraine doesn't need China's sympathy. It just needs its absence from Putin's wallet. October 22nd, Kharkiv. A Shahed drone slammed a kindergarten, igniting a 500 square meter blaze. 48 children huddled underground. They lived, a mother and her toddlers outside did not. That night, 400 drones and 28 missiles struck Kyiv, Odessa, Zaporizhia, Chernihiv. Power stations gutted. 2 million people. 2 million people without heat or light. Zelenskyy called it terror against light itself. He demanded long-range weapons to strike Russia's grids in return. If they bomb our power, we bomb their refineries.
This war is not about the land and not about territories. For him, it's about our sovereignty and about our independence. And he can get it, how to get different instruments. Territories, one of the instruments. That's about it. On the battlefield, he's not winning. That's why he really escalates air strikes. And you are right, he using missiles and drones on our was disaster, energy disaster during this winter by attacking us. Each day, 500 Iranian drones. Each day, 500 Iranian drones and 20-30 missiles. That's why we need air defense and long range. He has to feel what we feel.
Kaja Kallas labeled the raids as genocidal energy warfare. Those attacks pushed Washington and Brussels to accelerate sanctions. Every missile Russia fires now boomerangs economically. He bombs kindergartens, his economy burns. It's the only way it should be. Her name was Larisa Vakulik. 84 from Antonivka. 20 goats she called by name.
Разбили хату. И у многих поразбивались хату. 9 квартир полностью. Это 7-15, но извини, какого числа, я уже не помню. Я уезжать никуда, мне козы.
А сколько у вас коз?
20.
20 коз?
Да. Раньше это были там утки. Потом приехали, как вам сказать, переселенцы и превратили этот сарай в жилье. Пасу.
А дроны за козами не гоняются?
Не. Вот что странно. Не гоняются. А с коровами, да.
За коровами гоняются?
За коровами, не знаю, гоняются, не гоняются, но те, которые пасли коров, все убитые.
Сколько было таких пастухов?
Не очень много, но уже нет. Уже нет.
А вы не боитесь?
Мне 100 лет в обед. Что я должна бояться? А они что, не боятся? Все боятся. Все боятся, но каждый на что-то надеется. А вы корреспондент, да?
Я корреспондент, да. Я американская корреспондент.
Американский?
Но я здесь зараз живу, так что...
Ну ничего, вы должны помогать нам с Америки.
Должны, я согласна.
Ну вот, и что-то получается?
Ну, постараемся.
Да?
Працуем. Показываю, про вас покажу, про коз, да. Как вы живете.
И вы знаете, и большинство людей живут по грибах. По грибах. Но не бросают, у них ничего нет, кроме курей. Потому что свою.
On October 20th, She was walking them near the tree line where Russian FPV drone dived and exploded. She and the animals died instantly. Journalist Zarina Zabrisky wrote, "Grandma Laura has 20 goats. Russians have destroyed her house. All the shepherds herding cows were killed. Will America help?" she asks. On Telegram, Russian trolls flooded the thread with laughter emojis. Investigators say drones now stalk civilians like hunters, programmed to chase heat signatures. The ICC has opened a war crimes probe into the Kherson strikes. This is what evil looks like in 5. Not ideology, but a joystick pressed by a coward. Baba Laura wasn't a soldier, yet her death moved a nation. Russian drones hunting farmers in Donetsk targets civilians to crush Ukraine's spirit. Baba Laura's blood stains Putin's genocidal hands. Her death isn't random, it's calculated strike on Ukraine's soul. Her hope fuels our fight to smash once and for all Russia's evil. Russians punish, diplomacy isolates, but only weapons stop killers. Drop a candle for Baba Laura in comments and remember what justice sounds like. The EU swung its 19th hammer, first ever ban on Russian LNG, a blacklist of 117 shadow fleet tankers, crypto restrictions, and sanctions on child abduction officials. That's 30 billion euros erased from Moscow's energy income, half its annual procurement budget. Von der Leyen said, "We're hitting Russia's war machine where it hurts." The LNG ban ends short-term contracts within 6 months. Long-term by 2027, insurers can't cover tankers above $60 price cap. Crypto gateways like Mir are frozen out of Europe's fintech systems. Russia's shipping costs rise 20%. Its export volume falls another quarter. Oligarchs can't hide behind shell firms in Cyprus anymore. Europe finally matches its rhetoric with risk. When the EU chooses principle over profit, you know Moscow's losing control. And when Putin must choose between bombs or bread, he starves.
Russian response, and Ukraine's armed forces have said they are still assessing the damage, but at least one pro-Russian war blogger has described this strike as a disaster.
October 21st, Ukraine struck Russia's Bryansk chemical plant with Storm Shadow missiles. That facility made rocket fuel for missiles that hit Ukrainian cities. It's now a crater. Satellite images confirm full destruction. 10% of Russia's rocket fuel production gone overnight.
The Ukrainian armed forces had a priority target list and started immediately by striking one of the most important drivers of the Russian war machine. The night sky over Bryansk lit up with explosions as Ukraine's Storm Shadow missiles cut through Russian air defenses. Ukraine's Air Force, in coordination with land and naval forces, launched a combined strike with the drones saturating the air and depleting the enemy air defense as Storm Shadow broke through in surprise, while the Russians were still unaware of the lifted restrictions. The main target was the Bryansk chemical plant, one of the cornerstones of Russia's military-industrial complex, producing propellants, explosives, and components for Kirill H-59 and other missiles used against Ukrainian cities.
The strike forced London to lift all restrictions on Storm Shadow use inside Russia. For the first time, Western long-range weapons hit Empire's heart. Putin's red lines, they were never red, just smoke. The Bryansk Inferno proved deterrence is built on action, not caution. When Russia's own sky burns, the world finally sees who the aggressor is. Storm Shadows work will multiply that effect tenfold. Kiev's offense roars, and peace demands Putin's defeat. What changed the West's mind on deep strikes? Comment below. Curiosity kills Putin's illusions. You might not know the name Grynkewich yet, but you will. Trump appointed him Supreme Allied Commander Europe in July, the first NATO chief in years who doesn't hide behind restraint.
War persists on our doorstep in Ukraine, and while we seek a peaceful resolution, even if that resolution comes, the Russian capabilities that are there will reconstitute, and just by their very existence will be something that we'll have to think of from the military perspective and understand how it threatens the alliance and the freedoms that we hold dear. Russia will undoubtedly, in my mind, remain an enduring threat.
Vowing to crush Russia's terror with fire from afar, spearhead Ukraine's long-range strike revolution into Russia. Here's the game changer and a jaw-dropping reveal that flips this war. Grynkewich, U.S. Air Force commander, anti-ISIS air campaigns in Syria and Iraq, mastering precision strikes with drones and missiles. In July 2025, Trump nominated him as Supreme Allied Commander, NATO's top military leader overseeing 3.5 million troops, 100 aircraft, and 7,000 missiles to arm Ukraine against Russia's 400-plus monthly drone and missile strikes, like the October 22nd kindergarten bombing.
U.S. military assets, I'm right here, and I'm involved.
Grynkewich is a hawk who told Congress in 2024 that Ukraine's offensive power is NATO's spear. Victory is inevitable.
This Ukraine-Russia war has been going on for a long time. A lot of people killed. We've spent a lot of money. Can Ukraine win?
Senator, I think Ukraine can win. I think anytime your own homeland is threatened, you fight with a tenacity that's difficult for us to conceive of if we haven't found ourselves in that same situation.
Grynkewich is as ruthless as Ukraine, pushing long-range missiles to torch Putin's war machine. Grynkewich fast-tracked NATO's offensive support. 10 F-16 jets delivered to Ukraine in August 2024, with 12 more approved for 2025 per NATO. He's training 100 Ukrainian pilots in Romania and secured 50 ATACMS missiles, boosting Ukraine's deep strike capability by 40%. Russia's probing NATO with deep strikes of its own, breach Polish-Romanian airspace. Latvia shot down a Russian drone. Putin's testing NATO's resolve, risking retaliation if Ukraine can't hit back hard. Before I drop this game changer, smash that subscribe, like, comment, and share to fuel Ukraine's fight. On October 22nd, Trump lifted key restriction on Ukraine's use of Western long-range missiles like Storm Shadow, transferring authority from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to Grynkewich as NATO commander. This seismic shift, reported by Wall Street Journal, lets Ukraine strike 300 miles into Russia with European missiles, using U.S. targeting data, hitting Putin's bases and oil depots. Grynkewich's green light makes him the game changer. Ukraine's deep strikes are finally unleashed, flipping the war to offense for victory. Peace demands Putin's defeat. Ukraine's deep strikes crush him to win the war. Is he the hawk to end Putin's war? Or will NATO's caution choke him? His NATO strategy shifts Ukraine from defense to offense, arming Kyiv with long-range Storm Shadows and ATACMS missile to strike Russian bases, oil depots, and command centers deep inside Russia. This deters Putin's aggression by hitting his war machine where it hurts most, his own territory. Grynkewich's appointment and sanctions mark Trump's shift to peace through strength, empowering Ukraine to strike back. Grynkewich's offensive push secures NATO eastern flank, shielding Poland, Baltics from Russian retaliation for Europe. For Ukraine, he's a game changer, flooding Kiev with long-range missiles to hit Russia's heart and win the war. Comment now. What's the one weapon Ukraine needs to bury Russia? Ukraine's offense roars to victory.
We all see the challenges these days, and the Russians are carrying out a campaign of terror against our energy system, and they really want to make the winter cold a tool of torment and pressure on Ukraine, our people, and on our defense. And Russia's goal hasn't changed. They want to break us, want to break Ukraine, and they are doing everything to achieve it. So that's why our defense means everything that truly stops Russia from killing, destroying, and terrorizing. First, air defense, and today we spoke in detail with our partners about the systems. It's important that our partners focus on what's most practical and effective, and we gave all the details. Second, of course, it's important that everyone agrees the front needs substantial attention, and the focus must be on it, and thank for all the steps of help. And third, we are promoting a more meaningful approach to diplomacy. Diplomacy matters only when it can lead to real decisions. And when it comes to Russia, that dish has many ingredients. The essential ones are real forms of pressure on Russia, sanctions, our long-range capabilities, political pressure, accountability for war crimes, and real actions regarding Russian assets. Today we all agreed sanctions that hit Russian oil infrastructure, Russian oil companies are a big step, and I thank President Trump and all our partners who are implementing this. And we have to apply pressure not only to Rosneft and Lukoil, but to all Russian oil companies like Surgutneftgaz and others, and to the shadow fleet and its infrastructure, and to Russia's oil terminals. And we have to implement all we have discussed today about the Russia's shadow fleet. Besides, we are carrying out our own campaign of pressure with drones and missiles, specifically targeting the Russian oil sector. So the long-range capability directly strengthens diplomacy, the more losses Putin suffers on his own territory.
This formula mirrors tonight's episode. Sanctions do drain the war chest, air defense to guard the skies, long-range strikes to cut the arteries. Together, they turn Russia's fuel into its fire. That's the shift. Defense into dominance, survival into victory. The empire bleeds because the free world finally stopped apologizing for fighting back. And here's the truth behind the headline. For 2 years, the West fought Russia with speeches and spreadsheets. Now, it fights with the very thing that once fed the empire, oil itself. Sanctions choke the cash. Missiles erase the infrastructure. The fuel that built Moscow's power is now its own fire. But sanctions alone aren't salvation. They must meet air defense and offense, pressure and power intertwined. That's the formula of victory. We end this war not by waiting, but by acting faster than lies can spread. When you share this video, say this line: send storm shadows, fund air defense, and force sanctions now. Tag your officials, tag the truth. Freedom isn't charity, it's a coalition of will. Thank you for watching, for fueling SlavaCast on channel Yarochenko. If you loved the fire, support us at Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes below. Subscribe, like, share, and spread Ukraine's truth. Here's a final question. What's your bold move to crunch Putin's war? What would you do? Comment, stay fierce, stay brave like Ukraine. Slava Ukraini.